opposition is when you see the person completely change their opinion, story, or recant a previous statement. In fact, it was one particular moment that encouraged us to take a closer look into Alex Jones, and it was then that we discovered who he really was.
I want you to realize I'm not making this stuff up. Like, I shouldn't even quasi-joke around about Michelle being a tranny. That was wrong. And not that they even attack me for it. End justifies the means. I just get real cynical in a bad mood sometimes and make sick jokes out of things.
But Bill Hicks was not joking. He was very serious and quite troubled by the revelation of Michelle Obama's true gender. It was obvious that he did not know the truth about this until he saw the video, irrefutable proof that Michelle Obama is a man. Bill Hicks believed that he knew everything, but he completely fell apart on his live broadcast when the revelation of Michelle Obama's true gender became too much for him to contain.
And she always wears these weird fluffy things around her waist, and her shoulders are wide enough to put 3 men's heads on. And of course, you know the classic thing of a male. You could have 3 heads on a male's shoulders and only another head on a woman's shoulder, or 1/2 of a head on each side. That's a well-known thing in anatomy. And I saw an online video that I may air today, and we may look into this, talking about Michelle Obama looking like a man and how they only released photos of her with her hands up, covering her shoulders, or her turned at an angle. And I started looking at it with Joan Rivers saying she's a transvestite. And I'd been hearing this for years, and I thought, come on. I know Obama was raised by a transvestite and the rest of it, and I'm not getting into bashing people. That's not my cup of tea. But I started to really last night look at videos of this and look at photos of her in the official White House photo, and she looks like an NBA center. I mean, she looks more like Shaquille O'Neal than a black woman.
The mistake that Bill Hicks made was that he did not check with his CIA handlers before broadcasting his discovery. He even went as far as presenting a special report about Michelle Obama's true gender.
Well, you never know what to expect on the Alex Jones show, and this morning the topic came up that Michelle Obama might be a man. I know that might sound ridiculous, but is it? After all, there are many questions surrounding the president's past, and now people are starting to question the sexual orientation of the First Lady. Alex Jones has a special report on that from our new television studio in Austin, Texas. But first, here's what Joan Rivers had to say to kick the controversy into the mainstream.
You know Michelle is a
I'm sorry, she's a what?
a transgender. We all know.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, Joan Rivers talked about it in the last few days, and it's a big international news story. The question is, who is Michelle Obama? Is she really a woman? Is she a man? Every time I look at Michelle or Michael Obama, the first lady or the first tranny, every time I look at them, something doesn't look right. She doesn't look like any black woman or any woman I've ever known. She's got shoulders that are wider than a man's, which physiologically doesn't happen. Again, you can put 3 heads on a man's shoulders and only 2 heads on a woman's shoulders. That's a known anatomy. And then women generally have wider hips than men do. And you look at her arms and the rest of it, when she's standing straight on, she looks like no woman I have ever seen, except for people who have had different chromosomal disorders who choose to be a woman. And I've got the statistics and the numbers right here in front of me. We're seeing more and more of these chromosomal disorders because of all the toxic waste and GMO that's been introduced. One of them is the Klinefelter syndrome, or the double XY, where you basically are part female, part male, and then generally around puberty or even younger, the person needs to choose who they're going to be. But Joan Rivers, obviously, while officiating at a gay wedding, was basically asked about if America would accept this. And you know, she said, well, we already have a gay president and his transvestite wife. You know, for me, this isn't really a laughing matter because not just the sexuality, but the very genetics of the human species across the board is being manipulated.
Bill Hicks even goes as far as throwing a red herring into his spill about Michelle Obama's true gender by suggesting, even in the special report, that Michelle Obama may have Klinefelter syndrome. Unfortunately for Bill Hicks, his theory has failed him, as Michelle Obama has no symptoms of this genetic disorder. But since Bill Hicks really isn't a true journalist, we are not surprised that he didn't do any research into Klinefelter syndrome. The treatment for Klinefelter syndrome is hormone therapy by increasing the amount of testosterone, because it is testosterone that the man lacks, which causes a male to have more feminine features. It was certainly not Michelle Obama's feminine features that led to the production of irrefutable proof that Michelle Obama is a man. But even if he suggested that Michelle Obama had a female form of Klinefelter syndrome, which is called Turner syndrome, we would have found fallacies in that theory as well. While Klinefelter syndrome causes a man to be tall of stature with feminine features, Turner syndrome causes a woman to be very short of stature with masculine features, and in either case, it would cause infertility. It was then that he was contacted and told to completely recant everything. It wasn't long after making this statement that Joan Rivers had died under suspicious circumstances. And so, what does Bill Hicks do? He presents another special report, recanting his previous statements yet again by stating that he was joking like Joan Rivers.
Some people are going to say that Joan Rivers was killed because she joked around a month ago saying that Obama was gay and that Michelle Obama was a tranny.
You know Michelle is a
I'm sorry, she's a what?
a transgender. We all know.
We joked around about that as well. The mainstream media picked it up as if we were being serious. But I don't think she was killed by the Obama administration by doing that.
As you can clearly see, Bill Hicks was not joking. He was very serious. But things got very serious for him when he was contacted by his CIA handlers and ordered to completely recant his previous statements. And this is controlled opposition.
Here you go, America. You are free to do as we tell you. You are free to do as we tell you.